Cage Nation TV, it's Drew Shannon here with you. I have the most difficult job of talking to the most beautiful ladies here in the arena. We've got Nirvana, we have Crystal, our ring card girls for WCC 6. Ladies, are we having a good time tonight?
We're having a great time.
Tell us, what do you think of the fights tonight?
I think they're awesome. I love seeing guys hit each other in the cage. They're little shorts, you know? They're fake.
And you?
This is my first one. I think it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Fantastic. I got another one. I just wanted to hang out with the most beautiful ladies in the whole place. So, now this is now you're a model, correct?
Yes, I am.
Where can we see your work?
You can see it. I've been in USA. I work for Dirty Shirty. I've done all kinds of stuff. You can just Google my name, Nirvana Crystal.
Nirvana Crystal. And Crystal? Nirvana? No, just Crystal.
Hold on.
All right.
I am a social panelist for a health plan, so I'm the IT geek.
Wow.
That's on the side.
You got to hook her up with a modeling job. All right, well, ladies, it's a pleasure to have you here, and thank you for coming on to where are we, Cage Nation? Yeah, on YouTube. I have no idea. Ladies, I say the hell with this MMA thing. Let's go get a drink. You ready?
We're ready.
All right, we's out. See ya.
See ya.
Let's go. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. Welcome to the Cage Nation. No one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors, no one can drop us, no one can stop us. We are the warriors, no one can top us, no one can rock us. We are the warriors.
Welcome to a special edition of Cage Nation TV here at WCC 6. The event is wrapped up, and what an event it was. Drew Shannon, Albert Cameron, what did you think, man?
Well, you know, I really went into this event with high hopes, and I was not disappointed. The entire week we were preparing to call the fights for these events, so we are digging elbows deep in information about these guys. We're talking about who they've trained with, where they've came from. You guys watched the hype video last week where Branden Seyler and Charlie Mamman Gathers, and then Corey the Real Deal Hill and Caleb Ball. Now, unfortunately, when we got to the Nevin Sabrina here tonight, Corey Hill versus Caleb Ball was canceled. Caleb Ball did some serious damage to his knee, and Corey Hill was not able to find a replacement in 48 hours notice.
Right. But the main event was then Charlie Gathers versus Branden Seyler, and that main event did not disappoint. It was unbelievable from top to bottom. This card was fantastic. Some of the best fights I think we've seen in a while.
Easily.
And we're going to run them down for you here in just a few. Stay tuned, and it's the special WCC 6 edition of Cage Nation TV.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've had some great winners tonight at WCC 6. Beside me, it's the Wolverine, Ethan Goss. Wolverine, you beat Donnie Bard with a standing submission victory, but don't let that victory fool you. Your entire game plan was to strike tonight.
Yes.
Okay. Team Titan Fitness, where you're training out of, is a striking school, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, how did you come to formulate the plan just to complete the strike and let him stand up and bang?
I watched his video from his last fight, and I didn't want to take anything from him, but his striking didn't impress me. It didn't really look like he had much of a chin on him. So, I just wanted to stand and bang. I worked my striking, worked his press, got everything, worked with boxers, high fighters. We did everything I could. And I just come out and stuck to the game plan. I wanted to hold that left cross up. That was the plan, to land that left cross right hook.
Now, it really looked like Donnie Bard was trying to go for a single leg takedown, almost out of desperation. What would the plan have been if he had been able to take you down?
If he would have been able to take me down, considering that I was right on the cage the whole time, I would have just tried to walk up the cage. If not, if he would have took me down, I would have tried to escape. If I could have got on top, maybe just help me a little bit, but I was all about the feet tonight. I was all about throwing leather. And if I would have got out or got on top, I would have made him get back up. I find it more demoralizing than anything. You can tell, you can see it in his face, he didn't want to keep getting back up.
Donnie Bard looked like a primary striker. If he were able to get you down, do you think he would have had the ground skills to try to finish the fight?
No, I don't believe it, because I think my ground game is my better aspect. And I'm not taking anything away from him. He's a good guy. I don't know what his I think I would have been more superior on the ground as well.
All right, now what's next for the Wolverine? Where's your next fight going to be?
Joe just approached me and offered me something about Pinnacle. Instead of being fighting for Pinnacle on August 24th, we do it, and we'll be in complete devastation 9 and Altoona.
All right, so now the Wolverine's planning on going to Pinnacle Fighting Championships, which is right down the road in Pittsburgh. If not, ladies and gentlemen, he's trying to get into the Jeff Moss November 19th. Ethan Goss, on behalf of the entire Cage Nation, congratulations. Ethan Goss is going back to Petersburg, Pennsylvania, a winner tonight at WCC 6.
I'm going to do ground and pound rolls in the next fight.
Ground and pound rolls for his next fight. Ladies and gentlemen, Ethan the Wolverine Goss.
Welcome back to Cage Nation TV, this special edition from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, from WCC 6. Here we are. We're inside the cage. The event has wrapped up. Everybody's gone home for the night, but the buzz is still in the air over this great night of fights. Albert,
tonight was absolutely electric. The amateur card, top to bottom, absolutely stellar.
Unbelievable.
The pro fights were some of the best fights I think I've seen in a pro match in a long time. It's these local MMA fights that don't disappoint because there is so much that, guys can do. Guys are always going to buy the UFC because it's the UFC and they do historically put on great fights. However, in the local level, regionally, they got to dig a little bit deeper. They got to fight for every opportunity. And ladies and gentlemen, we did not disappoint.
They fought hard, and it was evident. Let's talk about some of the fights going on here tonight.
The first fight that happened was Alex Wallace versus Matt Falk. Matt Falk came down to the cage, accompanied with the Fractured City Army. Fractured City gear was a huge sponsor of tonight's event. Huge. Alex Wallace, it was a great fist exchange. It was great striking. It was great. As soon as the fight went to the mat, guys knew what to do. Alex Wallace was able to pull off a unanimous decision in the eyes of the judges and the referees.
All right, our next fight.
We have Keeman Jackson versus Dino the Skyscraper Euclio. It was a middleweight fight. Keeman Jackson was more a sturdy middleweight. He was shorter, a little bit wider. Why are you laughing at me? You're giving me a complex.
They're tearing the cage down as we're doing this, so we got to go through.
Well, the guys tore down the cage here tonight, and they're going to tear down around us. It's only fitting. Dino Euclio won by Kimura in round 1 of 1:50.
Right.
Keeman Jackson was looking to push the fight. Dino Euclio was a taller guy. He was looking to put his physiology to work. Keeman Jackson came into this event. He knew that he had to keep the distance short. He had to bring his fight. However, Dino Euclio really just kind of got the...
it's a little distracting, I know.
Just a little bit. Dino Euclio ended up getting the win. Paul P-Mac McAleer.
The P-Mac-a-Maniacs were in the house tonight. They were cheering on their favorite, Paul McAleer, as he took on, who did he take on? Jonathan Kaufman. One Kaufman that fought tonight. Albert, that was an unbelievable bout.
The Kaufman brothers showed up tonight. They're ready to fight. However, Paul McAleer is in the middle of the cage. He ends up trying to get a standing ankle lock. It turned into a calf crush. It turned into a double calf crush. McAleer had one on Kaufman. Kaufman had one on McAleer. It was a standoff if I've ever seen one in the submission game. However, Paul McAleer was able to get the win for a unanimous decision. McAleer said after the fight, my calf was done. If any little thing had changed in that fight, I think Kaufman would have got the W, but P-Mac got it.
All right, let's go to our next fight. What do we have? Ethan Goss taking
Wolverine.
on the Wolverine. Ethan Goss taking on Branden Bard.
Donnie Bard came into the fight knowing he was going to strike. Ethan Goss came in with the exact same game plan. How embarrassing is that?
I'm telling you what.
Well, when it came down to it, Ethan Goss was able to implement that game plan a lot better than what Donnie Bard was. Donnie Bard was not timid. He just wasn't ready for striking the caliber of Ethan Goss. Ethan Goss was able to, keep his jab, keep his distance. At certain points in the fight, Donnie Bard tried to score for a single leg takedown, almost out of desperation. I don't know if he would have known what to do with Ethan Goss had he got him to the cage.
All right, let's go to our the other Kaufman that fought on the card tonight and was successful against Bob Bianchini.
Absolutely. Drew and I were part of history tonight. The amateur rules in Pennsylvania changed.
That's right.
And we got to fight for the first advanced amateur contest rules in the state of Pennsylvania. The advanced amateur rules are saying that if guys have enough amateur fights and they're able to defend themselves, they can start contesting under rules close to pro rules. And that fight happened tonight in Greensburg, Pennsylvania. Daniel Coffin versus Bob Mancini. I was impressed with both guys. Daniel Kaufman had almost same striking pedigree as his brother John, but at the end of the day, Dan Kaufman got the win.
It was at that point we went to the intermission. Why don't we take a brief timeout right now? We'll have the rest of the card for you in just a few. You're watching Cage Nation TV, the special WCC 6 edition from Greensburg, Pennsylvania, and the Kirk S. Nevin Arena. Stick around. Drew Shannon here in Greensburg at the Kirk S. Nevin Arena, standing here with Charlie Gathers. Originally, our main event, our co-main event. Now, Charlie, you've been bumped up to the main event. What do you think?
I don't know. It really wasn't a hype about me being the main event, so to me, it's really just another fight. You can't really play too into the main event card, you know. So I take it as another fight and keep moving forward. So.
All right, how have you been preparing for the fight tonight?
A lot of cardio. You know, 15-minute or 5-minute rounds of 15-minute fights, a lot different from the amateurs. So a lot of cardio, a lot of stand-up, submission defense because the guys get on the ground, and you know, nothing really new. Just train to fight.
All right, you've just recently been signed to King of the Cage out of Pittsburgh.
Gladiators.
Or Gladiators of the Cage. We can edit that, can't we? Sure. All right, hang on. 3, 2. Charlie, you've recently been signed to Gladiators of the Cage out of Pittsburgh. How you feeling about that? Well, you have a 3-fight deal, correct?
Yeah. I feel real good. That show's top notch. Our fights will be on Root TV.
Root TV.
So that's a big deal, you know. So it's just good to feel like somebody's really watching and appreciating what you do. You know, it makes the hard work a lot better and makes it easier to go train. And you don't want to let nobody down. So that's just the way it is. I love it. Maybe someone else can sign me up too. So you know what I mean.
If you're listening, sign this man up. This is the future of MMA right here. Charlie Gathers, ladies and gentlemen. Charlie, best of luck as always.
Thanks.
Welcome back to this special edition of Cage Nation TV. Drew Shannon, Albert Cameron. We're here in Greensburg, Pennsylvania for WCC 6, the event wrapping up. We decided to step out of the cages. They're tearing things down. Unbelievable. Well, our fighters tore the cage down earlier tonight. So.
Cage was already plenty destroyed. We were just in the shell of the action here tonight. After the intermission, it was Branden Eckhart versus David Schultes. It was a last-minute replacement here.
David Livingston was supposed to fight tonight. Not sure what happened there, but Branden Eckhart stepped in, and what a display these two guys provided.
Boss El Huapo Rutan was famous for what? His liver kick. And David Schultes said, I'm going to take advantage of Boss. He was trying to get Eckhart to keep his hands high because he was opening him up with stiff kicks to the middle. Whenever Eckhart became wise to that, he was keeping his hands low. Well, then he just started getting punched in the face from trouble. After the 3 rounds, David Schultes ended up getting the decision against Branden Eckhart.
All right, our next bout was the title bout for the amateur lightweight.
Amateur lightweight.
And that was to be contested under advanced amateur rules. So it's the second bout in Pennsylvania, plus it was a title bout, which is another first. And that was between Sean Downs and Sean Deal.
Going into that fight, someone named Sean was walking away with the title.
That was a match.
That was a natural. I think Sean Downs did exactly everything we thought he was going to do. He was going to go in, he was going to overpower, he was going to endure, and he was going to implement his game plan as him and his corner intended to do. Sean Deal was having none of that going in. He was laying down vicious strikes since those advanced amateur rules. They're able to do things more like the pros do it, and Sean Deal took advantage of that. Now, here's the scary thing. The whole French fought was how the fight ended, Drew. We cannot agree.
I'm telling you what, it was a little bit scary. There was a tense moment there. Sean Downs winning by triangle choke in the first round, 225, winning the AMI Lightweight Championship. But that triangle choke definitely took its toll on Sean Deal. He was out like a light. Chip snapped the referee, having to prop his legs up to make sure he got the proper blood flow back to his brain. And it was a little scary there for a moment. We're glad to report Sean Deal is back on his feet. He's okay. Everything's fine. And your new WCC Amateur Lightweight Champion, Sean Downs. Our next bout, Kenny Good to Go Gardreau taking on Mike Gentleman Tilla in a battle of David and Goliath. Mike Attila is only 5'8". Kenny Gaudreau is 6'3".
I can't even do that kind of math as to what kind of height advantage was being given up. But Gatella opened up with a beautiful, beautiful throw.
I'm telling you, proving once again, it's not the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. He put on an excellent display, and he's got nothing to be disappointed in.
Mike Attila, 8 shots to the head that would have dropped a lesser man. I mean,
exactly.
I think we counted 20 shots unofficially that Mike Attila took the head. Kenny Gaudreau was starting to get a little bit frustrated that his shots weren't dropping him. Eventually, Kenny Gaudreau was able to put his long legs to work. He secured the triangle choke. He actually didn't put Mike Attila out either. He actually submitted him with an armbar.
Submitted him with an armbar, round 1, 4:03 in the first round. That was the first professional bout. The second professional bout was our main event, and it was a short one, but it was a good one. Branden Seyler taking on Charlie the Madman Gathers, Altoona's favorite son, the pride of Portage, and what a fight that was.
I think the point of a fight, I mean, when you think to the most primal definition of a fight, it is a physical interaction to settle a feeling of being wrong. Would you not agree?
I would agree.
Okay. Seyler won the fight by his trademark, I guess the trademark, guillotine choke. Charlie Gathers was forced to tap out, but Charlie Gathers had a sense of levity. He knew he lost the fight. It wasn't a close one. It wasn't a heartbreaker. And I have to think that the bad feelings are gone. If there really were any, Seyler didn't say that there was any bad feelings, but it's all about perspective tonight.
I did notice after the bout, both of them stood, they were just talking. They were very amicable to each other. Right. It looked like that there was no animosity whatsoever. One man won, the other man lost. Both men seemed to come together as friends, or at least respected each other after the fight. And once again, Branden Seyler, your winner, 56 seconds in the first round due to tap out by guillotine choke. Unbelievable card, up and down here, WCC 6 in Greensburg.
I'm actually kind of bummed out that,
I'm bummed that it's over.
I don't get the hype WCC 6 anymore.
That's okay, we can hype WCC 7 when they
in July. WCC 7 is going to the Reading Allentown area in July. We can hype that all we want.
Let's see what we can do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and because we're not officially on WCC time anymore, we can tell you that there was a lot of crossovers from Gladiators to the Cage. We know we're really big fans of those guys. Jason the Whip Willett, who just signed with Gladiators to the Cage contract, was here doing a lot of corner work. Charlie Gathers, of course, who just signed with Gladiators to the Cage contract. Ladies and gentlemen, MMA in the Pittsburgh metropolitan region and the areas outlined is blowing up. We're going to be here to tell you about it every step of the way.
Coming up next, we're going to have some interviews that we got throughout the night with various people here at WCC 6, talking about Branden Seyler, Charlie the Madman Gathers. We even talked to the Ring Girls. We talked to Justin LaBar of WrestleZone.com.
Ethan Goss, the Wolverine himself.
And so many more. Stay tuned. We're going to have those interviews for you next. It is the special WCC 6 edition of Cage Nation TV. Don't go anywhere.
I'm with Justin LaBar from WrestleZone, man. This is great. Justin, thanks for being on Cage Nation TV.
Thanks for having me. I always like to step away from, they call it the square circle.
Yeah, they do. Now, Justin, I'm a very big proponent that MMA and professional wrestling are practically first cousins. Would you agree with that sentiment?
Well, the first cousin certainly stole all the other first cousins' audience for a while. No, there's definitely a lot of crossover, whether you want to say from the fact that a lot of the MMA players have a wrestling background, have an amateur wrestling background. There's also, of course, there's a certain showmanship to some of these guys. We see some very flamboyant characters. So, similar audience. I don't care what people say, on a real fake conversation. The fact is, the same kind of audience that they're wanting to be entertained, they're wanting to see, two athletes go at it, whether the outcome's predetermined or not.
Fantastic. Now, from a professional wrestling background, I, as an MMA guy, I believe there wasn't a boring fight here tonight at WCC 6. Would you agree with that?
I would agree. I think that's an accurate statement, especially, you have to understand and appreciate what you're watching. We saw a little bit of everything. We saw some mat heavy, 3 rounds. We saw some fights that were strictly standing up and just an old-fashioned brawl. We saw some quick ones that went right to TKO. We saw some ones that went to decision. So there was no way you sat here tonight, paid a ticket, and not get your money's worth if you're an MMA fan.
Absolutely. Okay, now CM Punk and Lita were recently at a UFC event. If you had to take a fight from WCC 6 here tonight and say, hey, average professional wrestling fan, this is the fight you should watch to see our point of view, which fight would you think it'd be tonight?
I would probably say, because I grabbed my notes because I'm wildly unprepared, I'd probably have to say it was the first one we had after the intermission, the Brandon Eckhart, David Schultz. That was high energy, fisticuffs throwing. Talk about showmanship. Both had some personality to them. You can see Schultz, with some facial expressions, some playful taunting, I guess we could call it. That would certainly be my call for that.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to be checking out WrestleZone right now.
I'm not on there right now. Well, I probably am.
Professional wrestling websites have been promoting a lot of UFC, MMA kind of results for good reason, because essentially we are first cousins. We're not actually first cousins, but as an MMA fan and a pro wrestling guy, we like a lot of the same things. So, Justin LaBar,
Thanks, guys.
check out WrestleZone right now.
Follow me on Twitter.
Ladies and gentlemen, the main event of WCC 6 was huge. I'm here by the man, Branden Seyler. Branden, that fight was absolutely fantastic. I guess we found out very short notice you were going to be in the main event. When did you find out?
I found out Friday.
Okay, so like we found out late Thursday that the fight had been canceled. You guys found out on Friday.
Well, I found out Friday.
You found out when it was born!
I didn't know, whether or not that there's a final replacement for. I think Caleb got injured. I don't think there's a final replacement. So I didn't really know until Friday when I weighed in.
Oh, fantastic. Branden Seyler, I think there's some confusion as opposed to the Gathers fight. Gathers was really, really heated going into this fight. Can you give any insight as to if there was any animosity where it came from?
There was none for me. It came from a couple fights got turned down. They were short notice fights, though, so I understand I'm turning them down.
Okay.
But when they called on him to fight me, he came stepped up and fought me. I had no feelings towards him. He's a good fighter, and I'm glad he accepted the fight.
Fantastic. Now, Dignan Brumba is primarily a ground school, but you had no problem going to the ground. Was there at any time you thought you were going to abandon the ground defense and try to trade hands with Charlie?
Well, that was my initial point, and somewhere in there he caught me with either a jab or a straight. And once he did that, he was going for a takedown. I shot him. I got it easier than I thought I was going to get it. Then from there, I just tried to work him to the fence. And when I got that half guard, I was going for that guillotine. And he knew it. He started fighting my hand, but I sensed it real deep, and I was comfortable.
Fantastic. Branden, what's the next fight for you?
I'm going to take it one day at a time. I got to heal up. Next week, I'm going to Texas, so I'm looking towards that.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, 56 seconds of round one. Branden Seyler by guillotine choke. The main eventer here at WCC 6. We love talking to him. Branden, thank you very much.
Thank you, Justin.
Let's go!